everybody who is watching me. Nice to meet you again. Today we are discussing Pythagorean theorem and Pythagorean triples. This is the first video for this short article. And let me begin with the formulation. But first of all, let's look at we don't have a photo, of course, but Pythagoras, we can see his face from the bust, from his bust in a museum in Rome, on Capitolian Hill. So he was born a long time ago. It's 570 before Christ. He lived for about 75 years, but in his life he made a huge contribution to mathematics. And maybe the most famous part of this contribution is his theorem, which is extremely important. Here is a quotation from Wiki, which gives you some names. For example, in a right triangle, we get a right triangle when one of its angle is 90 degrees, or right angle as we call it, and those two sides are called legs, or kathesi T in Russian kathete, and singular, it's cathetus. I usually call them legs, as most teachers do. And this is hypotenuse or hypotenuse, both pronunciations are possible. I'll call it hypotenuse. So the essence of the Pythagorean theorem is that in any right triangle, the sum of legs squared is the exact square of the hypotenuse. That's simple, and at the same time, it's extremely important. Let us have some applications. Suppose we have a right triangle, which we draw here. This is the right angle. I didn't manage to draw it properly. Yeah, now the names of the vertices. It's A, B, C. And usually the opposite sides we call with small letters. This leg is A, this leg is B, and the hypotenuse is C. And let us apply the theorem in this simple case when A equals to 3 and B equals to 4. What I have to do is to calculate the hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem. That's pretty easy. First of all, I'll recall it. That's a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Then I don't have to solve for c squared, just write it in a more appropriate way for me. C squared is, in this case, is a is 3, so it's 3 squared, and b is 4, so it's b is 4. It's 4 squared. And now c becomes the square root of what is written here. 3 squared plus, again, 4 squared. 4 squared, which gives me a pleasure and an opportunity to write the square roots. 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. When we add these two numbers, we get 25. It's a square root from 25. And this is actually plus minus 5, but of course, being length, we call a positive sign. So we come to the conclusion that it's 5. What we did is applied the Pythagorean theorem in the simplest case. We were given two legs and we found hypotenuse, the hypotenuse of this triangle. So we can, whenever we are given two of the three numbers, we can get the third one. This is the power of it, the might of it, and that's how we use it most of the time. But in the end, we'll learn some tricks. Well, not tricks exactly, but some useful technique to avoid those calculations. So we'll come to that a little bit later.